Hey guys, how's it going? So as you may know, this week we had a data breach where thousands of people that had bought Digitex tokens from our Treasury and who had verified their identity to do so through our KYC system, our Know Your Customer system, a hacker got access to that portal that contained those documents, those personally identifying documents, you know, photocopies of passports, driver's license and things. A hacker got access to that portal and access to all that information. I was gutted that that happened. I would just like to personally apologize to everyone that has affected. I feel personally responsible for having let that happen, and I just want to say that we are doing everything we can to make sure it never happens again. We've brought in security consultants to advise us. We are having an overhaul of our security systems to make sure something like that will never happen again. Now, it does bring me to the subject of KYC, the Know Your Customer rules that everyone just seems to have accepted that we must do on cryptocurrency exchanges. We must do KYC, identity verification of everybody, because, and that's my question, because why? Why are we doing this? This is cryptocurrency. Why do I need to know the identity of everyone that interacts with my platform? Why do I need to know that? The two justifications for KYC are, well, the first one is that we need to know who everybody is and what everybody's doing, because if we don't, then we're just funding money laundering that funds international terrorism. I mean, seriously, I'm not going to spend too long on this point because it's ridiculous. People are not laundering Ethereum into Digitex to fund international terrorism. It sounds, even just saying that last statement, I just sound stupid even saying that statement. It's fucking ridiculous to even say it. So I'm not going to waste your time talking about that side of the argument. It's obvious bullshit. It's a crock of shit, and I'm calling it out for what it is. It's bullshit. So the next reason that we have to do KYC is because that's the only way we can guarantee that Americans can't get onto the platform. Now, the US authorities are particularly, adamant on people not being able to, US people not being able to gain access to and log into unregulated futures platforms like mine. And I can accept that. I don't agree with it, but if they want to curtail the online freedoms of their citizens like that, that's their business. I do not, however, accept that they have the right to recruit me to help them spy on everybody that wants to use my platform. I accept that we do have to block US people. We're going to block US IP addresses so that you cannot log in, or you cannot register from a US IP address. And you're going to have to check the terms and agreement, the terms and conditions where you agree that you are not a US person and that you're not in America. And like I say, we block US IP addresses too. If someone wants to get around that, I believe that is every reasonable measure I can take. I believe those are reasonable measures that I'm taking, those two steps. If someone wants to get around that, if a US person wants to get around that, and tell me that they're not a US person even though they are, they could use a VPN to get past the IP address block. They could also easily get through if we had KYC checks too. A determined person can get into the exchange no matter what kind of checks we have. So KYC doesn't really make it that much harder for a US person to get in. So I believe that we are doing reasonable measures with a US IP block and terms and conditions to block US people from getting into the platform. I believe that's a reasonable way of stopping them. I don't believe that the US authorities have the right to tell me that I must do KYC, identity verification, on every single person in the world that wants to use my platform just so that we can block US people. That is unreasonable. I don't think they have a legal precedent to make me do that, and I'm not going to do it. That's another thing I'm calling out as a crock of shit, because we all know the real reason for KYC. The real reason for KYC is that Big Brother wants to know what everybody's doing all the time. He wants to know how much you've got and what you're doing with it. And I don't believe they have the right to do that to everybody in the world. They just don't. we have a right to a certain amount of privacy. Exercising that right does not make you an international terrorist or a money launderer or a criminal of any kind. It just means you're exercising your right to privacy, which is entirely yours to do. If you want to come along and use my platform, go ahead. I'm here to say that as of the end of this week, we're going to remove all KYC identity verification processes from every part of our exchange. To buy Digitex tokens from our Treasury, you will not need to do KYC. And when we go mainnet in April, there will be no KYC identity verification requirements of any kind to use our exchange. So there you have it. Some people think it might be a little controversial. I'm not sure. I just think somebody needs to call KYC out for the charade that it is, for the crock of shit that it is. It doesn't do any good to anybody. It's expensive, it's time consuming, it's inconvenient for our users, and it puts them at a much higher increased risk of phishing attempts and identity theft, as has been shown with this latest incident. Like I say, I think it's unreasonable to ask us to verify the identity of every single person just to prove they're not American. I reject that. I don't believe we need to do that. And I just believe that, you know, a lot of people don't even have government issued IDs. You know, there's just this whole question of you know, we're blocking out so many people by doing KYC. It just doesn't sound fair. It doesn't feel fair to me. It feels like, you know, the great promise of crypto has just been hijacked by the suits. And I mean, the suits, I really don't blame the suits and the authorities for doing what they do. You know, they want to lock it down. There's been a system of money that's created that's better than the old system. Of course they want to lock it down. They want to make it harder to use. They want to know what everybody's doing. That's what they do. I don't blame them for doing that. The people I got a problem with is people like myself and the whole cryptocurrency community that just let them do this. You know, we just rolled over. We were just a bunch of pussies that just rolled over. And, you know, the authorities came to us and says, yeah, this cryptocurrency lark's great, but you got to do KYC on everybody. And we all just said, oh, okay, you know, obviously, you know, the road forward is through regulation. Obviously, you know, that's what you hear at every crypto conference. You know, we got to find the path to compliance. Obviously, it's through regulation, you know, and everybody just agrees. Oh, obviously. No, fuck that. I disagree. I wasn't at the meeting that decided that. We do not need to do KYC. We do not need to verify everybody's identity so that they can use the Digitex Futures exchange. People are not laundering Ethereum into Digitex to fund international terrorism. It's fucking ridiculous to say that, and enough is enough. I'm calling it out for the charade, for the crock of shit that it is. We are not doing KYC on anybody for any reason. Let me know what you think of that, guys. Social, Telegram, however way you want to do it. I'd just like to apologize again for the breach that happened. I'm doing what I can to, you know, I don't just want to say it's never going to happen again. I actually want to do something that actually guarantees it's never going to happen again. And this is the only way that I can do it. The only way I can guarantee there won't be another data breach of people's personal documents is that we don't have those personal documents in the first place. We don't have the right to ask you for those documents. You should not have to give them in order to use my product. You should not have to give them because the US government or whatever other fucking government in the world says that you need to. You do not need to. You just do not. Thanks, guys. Let me know what you think, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.